Lewis Hamilton is one of those rare generational athletes who can compete at their peak for years on end. The 7-time world champion has been in the spotlight since his debut in 2007, and his legendary and illustrious career appears to have no end in sight. But while Hamilton has been the talk of the town for the past decade, there are still some surprising facts about the Brit to learn that aren't often discussed in the media. So, without further ado, come along with us and learn the top 10 surprising facts about Lewis Hamilton. Number 10. He holds one of the most impressive records in the sport. Records are there to be broken, and Formula One is no exception. In the case of Lewis Hamilton, the British superstar holds so many records that listing them all would be exhausting, so we'll focus on one that many people may not have heard of. Lewis Hamilton has won a race in each of the Formula One seasons in which he has competed. That record is held by no one else. In fact, the longest he has gone without winning a race is 14 races, starting from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix last season and continuing until now. This is Hamilton's longest winless streak in Formula One, having previously gone 10 races without a victory 3 times. From the 2008 Brazilian Grand Prix to the 2009 German Grand Prix, Hamilton went winless in 10 races, during a season marred by an uncompetitive car. The other 10 race streaks without a win lasted from Brazil in 2012 to Germany in 2013, and from Belgium in 2013 to Australia in 2014. Surprisingly, he also had a 10-race winless streak in his championship-winning GP2 campaign. His final 10 races for ART were without a win, but 7 podium finishes helped him secure the championship title. His second longest winless streak was when he raced for Manor Motorsport in his first Formula 3 Euro Series season at the age of 19, making this the longest he's gone without a win in his single-seater career. With only 9 races remaining in the championship, he has only 9 chances to maintain his record, and judging by Mercedes' recent resurgence in form, he might just do it. Number 9. Rico Mossberg and Lewis Hamilton used to be great friends. The rivalry between Hamilton and Rosberg was one of the sport's most storied, with the two exchanging obscenities over team radio, banging wheels in wheel-to-wheel battles, and being involved in numerous accidents during their time at Mercedes. You could be forgiven for thinking they've always been bitter rivals, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Despite their different upbringings, Rosberg and Hamilton were childhood friends long before they graced the Formula One paddock. The boy from the Stevenage Council estate and the boy raised in Monaco's luxury. During their karting careers as teenagers, they raced as teammates and often joked about one day competing in the same Formula One team for the World Championship. Alas, their dreams came true when Hamilton left McLaren for Mercedes in 2013. But it marked the beginning of the end for their friendship, with the rivalry growing more strenuous race after race. Number 8. He asked McLaren's boss to sign him when he was just 10. Hamilton, at the age of 10, became the youngest winner of the British Cadet Kart Championship. The year is 1995. He attended the Autosport Awards, the motorsport industry's end-of-season celebration. According to the story, Hamilton approached McLaren Formula One team boss, Ron Dennis, asking for an autograph, and said, "Hi, I'm Lewis Hamilton. I won the British Championship, and one day, I want to be racing your cars." In Hamilton's autograph book, Dennis wrote, "Phone me in 9 years. We'll sort something out then." 3 years later, after winning his second British Kart Championship, Dennis signed Hamilton up for McLaren's driver development program, with Martin Whitmarsh tasked with managing the young Briton's career. Number 7. He appeared on a Christina Aguilera record. Unlike other Formula One drivers, Lewis Hamilton's experience isn't limited to going fast in circles. In fact, the British superstar has been involved in a variety of projects over the years, ranging from fashion and business to even rapping in a Christina Aguilera song. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Hamilton appeared under the pseudonym XNDA on one verse of Christina Aguilera's song Pipe. He initially refused to comment, but after 2 years, he finally admitted it on social media. He described his experience on Instagram. "Guys, I've spent the last 10 years or more writing or recording, working with some of the most talented and beautiful people, which I'm so grateful for. It's been the most incredible outlet. I had 2 hours to write the short verse and record. The goal was to have music come out under a different name, so that you could hear the music first and later know it was me, but it didn't work out the way I'd planned." Number 6. Hamilton's father worked 4 jobs to support his racing. It's an open secret that Formula One is one of the most expensive sports in the world, with the majority of drivers coming from a privileged background. As a result, the chances of someone from a low-income family making it to the sport are almost nil. But then came Lewis Hamilton, who broke the money barrier and stated unequivocally that F1 should prioritize talent over money. Yes, the Briton marched his way into the sport with massive backing from McLaren, but above all of Hamilton's supporters over the years stood his own father, Anthony Hamilton. In fact, Anthony worked 4 jobs until he began to get the hang of racing. According to reports, the senior Hamilton worked as an IT manager in the past, but he had to quit his job and become a contractor in order to keep his son active on the racing track. Aside from those, he did other part-time jobs in the parallel, but what they were exactly is still unknown. What we do know is that we can thank Anthony Hamilton for making the necessary sacrifices to get his son into the sport, resulting in one of, if not the most decorated driver in motorsport history. Number 5. Despite suffering from a medical condition, his brother is also a racing driver. Nicholas Hamilton grew up in the shadow of the racetrack, but unlike his older half-brother Lewis, Nicholas never expected to race competitively. The younger Hamilton suffers from cerebral palsy, a disorder that affects approximately 1 in every 400 children in the UK and is the most common childhood motor disability worldwide. Hamilton's legs and balance are affected by the condition, which prevents him from flexing his ankles and using conventional foot pedals while driving. Nonetheless, in 2020, he became the first disabled driver to score points in the British Touring Car Championship, a racing series founded in 1958. Hamilton is able to compete due to a specially modified car. The accelerator and brake pedals are extra wide in position so that Hamilton doesn't have to fully extend his legs to use them. He also has a seat that's been custom molded to fit his body. He is currently the championship's only disabled driver, competing against 30 able-bodied competitors. Number 4. Lewis Hamilton is the 4th Formula One driver to be knighted. Max Verstappen denied Lewis Hamilton a record-breaking 8th Formula One world title after a controversial finish to the season finale in Abu Dhabi. But just 3 days later, Hamilton received one of the highest honors a British citizen could receive, a knighthood. Hamilton was made a knight by the Prince of Wales during a ceremony at Windsor Castle and was accompanied by his mother, Carmen Lockhart. The 36-year-old is the 4th F1 driver to be knighted, following Sir Jack Brabham, Sir Sterling Moss, and Sir Jackie Stewart, and the first to be knighted while still racing. Hamilton was named to the New Year honors list after a record-breaking year in which he surpassed Michael Schumacher's all-time victory total and won his 7th world title. Number 3. He has a passion for piano. You might be wondering what Lewis Hamilton does in his spare time away from the racetrack, and one of his favorite pastimes is actually playing the piano, which he has spent a significant amount of time learning to play. Because of the stress of his racing career, which requires him to focus on every small detail, he prefers to relax as much as possible when he is away from the intense racing world, which is where the piano comes in. Hamilton has always learned quite quickly, with videos of him performing Queen hits alongside industry stars such as Rita Ora surfacing on the internet demonstrating his talent. Number 2. Hamilton began his racing career with remote-controlled car racing. From the start, Lewis Hamilton possessed an abundance of natural talent. When Lewis was just 6 years old, his father Anthony gifted him a remote-controlled car to race in competitions. In a Facebook post in 2020, the 7-time F1 champion revealed the fond memories of racing RC cars with his father, accompanied by a photo of a young Hamilton holding 2 trophies. "I was 6 years old here when I earned my first 2 trophies remote-control car racing. The small trophy was second place in the electric class championship against grown men. The bigger was for best newcomer in the beginner petrol cars, again against men. I was the youngest by at least 15 years. We were also the only people of color there in a much smaller field. I was so proud. These were some of the best days of my life, spending time with my dad out the back of the old car we had, with our pot noodle soup and bacon sandwiches, which was very much an English thing." Number 1. He appeared in a Pixar movie. Lewis Hamilton, in addition to being one of the most successful Formula One drivers of all time, has cultivated a reputation that extends far beyond racing. That profile bodes well for the 7-time world champion when it comes time to retire. Hamilton, not content to wait until the launch of his post-F1 fame, has already made his Hollywood debut. And it seemed fated that the 37-year-old's first foray into film came with the 2011 smash hit Cars 2. Given his preference for 4 wheels, it's only natural that Disney Pixar transformed the motorsports king into a car version of himself. Lewis Hamilton was involved in the design of his character, which is based on a McLaren MP4 12C GT3. He's completely black with yellow lining on the sides, which Hamilton was very particular about. He even chose the rims for the anthropomorphized car. And that concludes our list. Were you surprised by anything we featured? Is there anything you think we missed that should be on the list? Let us know in the comments down below.